Hey guys, Greg with Planet Green Zen, and thank you for coming to my channel. Now, if you guys have never been to this channel before, what I really love to do is just inspire the world mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and socially, because I truly believe that if we all had a holistic yin-yang balance of each one of these areas in life, we would eliminate hunger, famine, slavery, war, disease, and have more health, wealth, and abundance together as one human unit on this entire planet. So if you guys believe in similar messages, just do me a favor. Go ahead and like this video, share it out. People in your community and tribe needs to hear it, and we'll go ahead and change the world that way. So I have actually a special guest for you guys today on my channel.
Planet Green Zen, inspiring the everyday person to break free from the mundane and take action.
Her name is Dr. Cari Skrdla. So I met her at a networking event. Like I told you guys, your net worth is determined upon your network. And when you go out and network with people, you never know who you're going to meet. So just go out there, take action, and meet somebody new today to help change your life. Now, Cari is the founder of LifeBack LLC. Professionally, she has been considered an authority in training and development. Through her dedication and focus, she has served as the inspiration behind the personal coaching methods that have changed the lives of many men and women. Cari's Arizona-based operation is designed to actually assist others in obtaining happiness and freedom by living a life created from their values and principles. During her career, Cari has developed innovative and effective sales and marketing strategies such as business-to-business and consumer clients as MCI, Siemens, 100 Black Men of America, the City of Detroit, and Apollo Education Group. Her background, which includes an undergraduate degree in psychology from Eastern Michigan University, an MBA from Western International University, and a doctoral studies in psychology from Argosy University, helped her establish herself as a lifelong learner. Cari's business savvy goes far beyond academic achievement, garnering her recognition in customer relations, and her relationship in marketing in the Tri-County area of Detroit. Now, in 2003, guys, the Booker T. Washington Chamber of Commerce honored her as an Entrepreneur of the Year, which that's awesome. The City of Detroit Human Rights Development presented Cari with the Business Achievement Award in 2008, and she is a respected member of the Arizona Education and Workforce Coalition Committee. Now, without further ado, please help me welcome Dr. Cari Skrdla to my show. Hi, Cari. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Greg. It's so good to be here with you.
Thank you. Now, that introduction was wow. That's like a book in itself. You have so many accomplishments. And yeah, so like starting off, just the people of Zen, as far as the audience that is listening to this interview, how did you get started? How did you get the mindset that you have today to actually just help other people, not only help other people achieve their dreams, but actually yourself? Like, how did you get that type of mindset?
It really started, I think, with my parents. Growing up in Detroit, Michigan, my parents were community leaders. They were also involved with the civil rights movement in the 60s. My father played a very intricate role in organizing the first march in 1963. And then he just continued on from there. Oh my gosh, if there was some work to be done, Greg, in the community, my parents were involved in it. Everything from standing up for Black-owned businesses at that time that were suffering a lot, and clear through to the 90s, my parents were a stand and advocates for people being treated with dignity who had HIV, AIDS, that sort of thing. So when you're born into a family like mine, where there's a strong focus on serving, how can you not be touched by it?
Wow, that's powerful. And again, your parents having that strong community connection, and then you seeing that growing up helped you kind of develop your sense of wanting to serve and help people by watching them and inspire you to do so.
Totally. It just really did. And today, you know, I have siblings. I can't think of any of us that are not serving in some capacity in that way, you know.
Wow.
So, but my parents, aside from their involvement in those kinds of activities, they were just great people to hang out with. And when they weren't out saving the world, Greg, they spent a lot of time just hanging out with us. They had a very close, intimate relationship between the two of them. And what I loved growing up with my parents, was just the times when we would sit and talk and share things that we had learned throughout the day. It was just a great home to grow up in a great environment.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And, the saying that says the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And it goes to show you guys, people who are listening, if you watch all my videos on my YouTube channel, search anything out there, read books, just people who are successful. When you look at other people who are successful, you kind of duplicate those habits, whether it's your parents, friends, colleagues, mentors, whoever it is. You ever heard the saying that says, "Don't do what I do what I say," and that typically
Yeah.
doesn't really work. Like,
No.
do you have any thoughts on that saying?
I do, because it's funny, since you asked me the last question, it really has me thinking about my parents and their style of parenting. That they were real popular in the neighborhood amongst my peers, my friends, childhood friends growing up, because my parents were so real. They were transparent, and they would offer you things from their lives, things that they did well, mistakes that they made, to help you grow. But having parents that were real gave me a sense of I'm not alone in the world, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay if I make a mistake. So their transparency, their authenticity, it gave you a space for you to just grow and to be nurtured by. And I love that about them. I think that's what made the biggest difference for me and my siblings and a lot of people in the neighborhood when I was growing up.
Well, yeah, and that something you said actually hit me. You said it was okay to make a mistake, because a lot of times when people make mistakes, they think it's all or nothing. They just gone, because in school, a lot of us are programmed that you get a bad grade, get an F, you're just done, and you failed, you're stupid, and you just need to give up. But in life, in order to be successful, you have to fail forward. So failing is part of creating success. It
Yeah.
reminds me of I always forget her name, the creator of Spanx. I'm not sure if you know her name off the top of your head.
I know I don't, even though I do appreciate her her work and her product. Yeah.
uh, it'll come to me, but she said that her dad would, when she would come home from school or practice, he would ask her, "So what did you fail at today?" And if she didn't have anything, he would be disappointed, because failure is part of growing. So that was powerful that you
It
said it's
is.
okay to fail. So I'm glad that your parents actually recognized that and taught you that it was okay to fail.
Yeah, totally. And that, I can remember, not just with me, people would come by and, just kind of seek my dad's counsel, really both of my parents. And, they would come in with their heads hung down about some mistake they've made, in judgment. And my father in particular, he would just look at you and just go, "So what?" And it was something about that that just freed you up big time, so. If you ever came to either one of my parents with gossip about someone or any type of negativity, both of them would respond the same way. They'd be like, "So what? So what if that person did that? I can tell you some things I've done." And it's that kind of grace and space that they allowed in and around, okay, an individual that just, you couldn't help but grow in an environment like that and dust yourself off and keep moving.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love that, because when people, they're attracted to like your parents because all the serving that they did, they felt comfortable, even maybe not even going to their parents, but they came to your parents for like
They
advice and
did.
help.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so is there, with all the accomplishments that you did so far, some people may, could be intimidated by that. Can you let our audience know something that you actually maybe failed at, or something that was a challenge that you had to overcome yourself, just so that, hey, you are human as well?
Oh yeah, totally. I think my accomplishments came primarily out of failing at different things. And I like what you said before, failing forward. Again, my parents, they would encourage us when other people were telling their kids, be careful when you leave out for the day for school. My mother was like, "Take a chance today." It was really interesting, because I remember the first time she said that to me, I was like 10. And some of the things that I remember failing in a marriage. I've been married a couple of times. That was really heartbreaking. Um, I had a position once that I was terminated from after 30 days. And I loved the job. I was there 1 month. I was like just getting started and I got terminated. And it really comes down to how I've responded to things. Anything where um, I think the word failure is going to come up is going to be heartbreaking, whether it's the ending of a relationship, a bad choice that you've made. I've made many, or being fired. But one of the things that I've learned that I think is super important and is that we look at any failure as not something that's exclusive to us, the individual. That's something that we tend to point to instead of just looking at, okay, how can I debrief on this? Uh, you know, am I going to point fingers out there? Am I going to sink into myself and be depressed? Or am I going to learn from this? And I mean, really sit down and debrief. Like, okay, so what is it that I failed to perform? Right? So, and let me say a little more about that. So, if you got fired from the job and they came to you and they said, okay, look, you fell short, you didn't deliver on what we hired you for, I think you owe it to yourself to sit down with that and instead of defending yourself, really debrief and see, okay, what could I have brought to this that I wasn't bringing? Same in relationships. And my current husband, we've been together now for 5 years, and we debrief on everything in our performance. We debrief on how we're maintaining our home, our finances, and even a kiss. It's like so easy to just end up with like the default relationship. And we made a commitment to each other that we would keep passion and aliveness in our relationship. And so we don't allow ourselves to just get used to each other. We're always looking to see, okay, what can we bring into the relationship? How can we stir things up a little more? And that really is because he's bringing 100 and I'm bringing 100, and not making him responsible for what I'm not bringing. And I try and do that everywhere, working with clients, or anytime I'm involved out there with people. My work is all about serving people. So I have to bring 100, Greg. You know what I'm saying? Every time. And when it falls short, and that happened to me just this past week, oh my gosh, great example. I was facilitating Genius Boot Camp. I'm a Genius Boot Camp facilitator. It's a great program. It's 2.5 days. And I had 15 participants that were there, and I had 2 or 3 people that were assisting and supporting me for the event. And after the second day, I had a participant that didn't come back. And she wrote and emailed, and her experience with me as a facilitator was very negative. And even though out of the 15 people, she was the only one that expressed that, I went back, I checked in with everyone. Are you getting what you need? And they all said yes. I got 14 just stellar reviews at the conclusion of the event. As human beings, what do we focus on? That one. And so I emailed her, and, instead of just resting in the place where, it would have been so easy to say, well, you're just one individual, I really took to heart what she had to say, because that was her experience. And she paid and came to have me deliver something to her that I did not deliver. And so I apologized to her and asked her if she would be willing to have a phone call with me so that I can learn from her and her experience with me. So that's an example of when I failed, and also how I managed that. And I think that when we're experiencing the downside of success, that's the best thing that we can do, is just sit down and take inventory of our performance and then work on that, and then go back out and try again.
Awesome. That was great. Love how you broke that down. It's funny because I sort of similarly, when I speak to other people about certain things, I give them an example of like, yeah, it's all how you actually interpret the situation or handle it. You have the choice to either be upset or happy. And I compare it to in traffic, like if someone cuts you off in traffic, we all kind of get either upset or mad or may say a swear word, but I say, yeah, okay, for 2 seconds, let it out. But then think about the positives, that you did not get in an accident. You still have your health, your car is okay. You can still get to where you
Yeah,
need to. Everybody's safe. So like when you let that positivity overpower the negative, then you don't even think about it, or you're not chasing a person down, trying to flip them off or do all this unnecessary negative energy.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
So yeah, it's just, like it's just that perspective, just glass half full or half empty, that type of
exactly.
mentality.
Yeah.
Now, something interesting when I was at the event that when I met you,
Hmm.
can you give a little bit explanation to what is a terror barrier and how can people get over that?
Absolutely. So if I were to say to you, um, picture, Greg, your mind, right? One of the first things, that images that will come up for most people, is a picture of their brain,
Mhm.
right? But the mind is a function of the brain. And so your mind it contains your conscious and your subconscious. Now, on a conscious level, you may decide that you're going to start a podcast, or or you're going to leave your job and take on a new career, and you're excited about that. You know that you have what you need to do that, the right resources, and then you go to step into this new journey, and all of a sudden, I don't think I'm going to do that. And how that looks for some people is they get sleepy, or they might get busy, or they may go back and take some more classes, or they may just blow the opportunity altogether and never launch, not realizing that there was a barrier that came up from the subconscious. Okay. And the subconscious is where all of the programming comes from, particularly early programming before age 12. The subconscious is the place where you can neither accept nor reject ideas. So it's like a big dumping ground, right? It's why kids believe in Santa Claus and that sort of thing, because they don't know to reject that idea. So over time, as the conscious is formed and your identity is formed around your conscious, mind, then we try and move about in life, and the subconscious is the one that's in the way, where the barrier is taking place. Now, the reason why it's doing that is, it's not trying to ruin your life. It's not trying to hold you back, but the subconscious is responsible for your life. It's life sustaining. It's because of the subconscious that your heart is beating. You don't have to consciously say, heart, beat now. Just imagine if you were spending all day just keeping your heart beating, right? Or, just moving your hair around. That's a program. Um, and all of that is coming from the subconscious. And we're aware of that. But when it comes to our ambitions in life and the things that our hearts will long for, we never seem to realize that the heart is, I'm sorry, that the subconscious is keeping us away from going after those things, after our dreams. To the subconscious, you look as if you're going to die anytime you step out into something new. Another really quick example of how I've seen this play out with human beings. Let's just say if you are in the first grade and the teacher asks you a question like, who's the first president of the United States? And I would have raised my hand and say, Abraham Lincoln. And the teacher's like, no, I'm sorry, it was George Washington. And then, all the kids laugh. So then there I am now. I'm in undergrad, I'm a junior, and I know the answer to something, and the professor is asking the question, and I won't raise my hand because my subconscious is like, it's got my hand down. No, you're going to get embarrassed, you're going to be hurt. And then that plays on into your career. You're in the conference room, and the vice president is asking for ideas, and you don't want to put your hand up because your subconscious is saying, no, you're going to die. So that is the terror barrier. Now, what I teach in my program is that, like the sound barrier, if you use that as sort of a good example of how this works, if you keep pushing through, there's going to be some anxiety, there's going to be some fear and nervousness. But if you keep going, eventually you get clear, you get calm, and now you've leveled up. And, I know that's a term everybody is using today. Oh, you got to level up. But that's what it really means to level up, is that when you break through that limitation and you overcome, and you're able to prove to the subconscious, hey, we did this and we didn't die. Then after that, you kind of set that new boundary. Just like the person that broke was it the 3-minute mile, the 4-minute mile?
Robert Bannister, I believe.
Exactly. And look, after he did it, look how many other people were able to do it after that.
Yeah, even high school kids.
Yeah,
did it after.
Exactly.
Roger Bannister, I think it's Roger Bannister.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. I'm forgetting all names today, but is there a book that you can recommend people to read, or something that actually inspired you that you would say, this will help you if you read this book?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There's a couple. One of my absolute favorites is Write It Down, Make It Happen. And that's by Dr. Marietta Hendricks. That's a really good book. One that I've read recently by Dr. Purcell is The Heart Code. I love that book. It actually came to me after someone came to hear me speak, and I was teaching from my research on the heart that I referred to as the superconscious, and I was talking about how the heart thinks. It has neurons, and so I've read that book. It's called The Heart Code, and it's an amazing book. And then there's one that I'm currently reading. Oh my gosh, I'm so into this book. It's called Behave. And as a neuroscientist, I have read a lot of books on the brain and the neural pathways. And I've always wanted to be able to communicate what I've learned in lay terms. The book Behave went beyond that, and it's communicating about the brain in a novel kind of format. Like, it's storytelling. So it's super cool. You have an opportunity to learn a lot about yourself, your humanity, and the world around you. And I highly, highly recommend it. I think the author's name is Robert Polinsky.
Polinsky, okay.
Yeah.
So guys, rewind this video, pause it, take notes, get these books. They will help you break out of that terror barrier and break free and stop living the mundane life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just recently watching your video on YouTube regarding the heart, and that was very interesting with those studies to where the girl who got the transplant, and then she from a murderer, and she started having like nightmares, or the guy who had the one from a musician, and he started to play certain instruments like the piano or violin, or I can't remember, but I was like, wow, that's just crazy to me. Like,
it's so
like, does
crazy.
The heart have a mind of its own, when you take on whoever's heart that was, and you actually take on their characteristics?
Yep.
That's very interesting to me.
Isn't it? And when you think about every serial killer that we've ever heard about or read about, there's something in us, without even having this knowledge, Greg, that would say, I wouldn't want that person's heart, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, okay, and thank you. And do you have any advice or words for people who maybe, when it comes to, because a lot of people let fear paralyze them enough to where they don't take action or pursue their dreams,
Mhm.
how to get through that fear, or why is it that fear consumes so many people from taking action to pursue their dreams?
It's programming. It's all programming. And the sooner that we embrace the fact that that's happening, and get into a place where we understand our humanity, okay, the better off we're going to be. You know, I do an exercise with people the first day of my workshops where I show them how much programs are running our lives. You know,
Yeah.
when you wake up in the morning, Greg, you don't need to consciously be there to do the routine that you do every day, your shower routine, brushing your teeth, and then wherever you're driving, you're not present consciously driving your car. And so we have to realize that those programs are dominating us and not allowing us to take action, okay, towards our goals, and taking us into the real vision that we have for our lives in relationships, abundance, you name it. And there's ways that you can trick the brain in order to break out of those programs. So I do really bizarre things. Um, I wake up in the morning, and when you work from home, you have to be super disciplined, right?
Yeah.
So the night before, I might do something odd, like I've got this plastic baseball bat, so I might take it and I'm going to bed, and then I take it and I prop it up against the laundry room door. Why? Because when I wake up the next day, the programming goes, well, that's not supposed to be there, right? And as I pick up the bed, I remember, okay, go and work on your newsletter, right?
Yeah.
Alarms for me only worked for so long. After a while, the alarms were going off on the phone, and I would just shut it off and was like, what was that alarm for? So one time I took lipstick and I put it on the monitor of my computer, like just a plus sign, right? And when I looked, I'm like, oh, and it disrupted the program and made me remember that I was going to sit down and put some programs together that I was sending out to some participants. So those are the kind of things that we have to begin to do to break routines, so that we're successful, and so that we take the actions to be successful.
Wow, those are some powerful tips. Guys, I want you to try those triggers, like the mind triggers, where you do something out of the ordinary just to disrupt your program. Say, oh, well, remember, I need to work out today, or need to meditate, or need to go serve people and work on my business so I can accomplish whatever dreams or goals I want. So I want you guys to try those triggers, and let me know in the comments below if they worked for you. What do you try to actually disrupt your programming, as far as what type of trigger, so other people can see it and maybe want to try that as well.
Yeah. Park
Awesome.
your car like down the street or something. I guarantee you'll forget the next day, and you wake up, the programming is running, and then now you've got to walk down to your car, and you may keep going to the gym, or park it so far enough that was the exercise.
Awesome. And do you have any words of wisdom that you would leave the people of Zen out there listening to this interview, that would leave them to be able to just resonate in their minds or their subconscious?
Yeah, live. And when I say that, I know that sounds like a bumper sticker kind of quotation, but really live your life. It took me a long time to figure out that I was living a life that was handed to me by my culture, um, by um, my religion, and all of these other um, influencers. And it wasn't that it was a bad life, it just wasn't the life that I came to the planet to live.
Yeah.
And if you listen to your heart and your truth, and don't worry about all of the stuff that we've bought into, the material things, then you can fully express yourself, your life, your joy, your happiness, and live a life that you choose to live. That's what I want for everybody. I want everybody to design a life and live a life that they choose to live. And I promise you, the moment that you create that, the universe is going to show up to meet you halfway and to assist you with having exactly what you want in your life, what you really, really want in your life.
Oh, I love that you said that. And something you said that's key, guys. Really listen to that. The universe will meet you halfway, which means you have to put the efforts in to go the other half, and the universe will help you as well. But you got to still take action. But when you put it out there to the universe will put things in front of you that you would need to actually get to where you want to be. But again, you still need to take
Absolutely.
action. And I love that. I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys want to connect with Dr. Cari Skrdla, I will have her social media in the links below. I'm saying the description below, her Instagram, her Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, her website. So you guys have all these ways to contact her. No excuses now. So I want to see you guys take action and live the life of your true purpose that God, the universe, put you here for, because you don't want to be in your deathbed and have regrets. Because I'm currently reading a book called The 5 Regrets to Dying, and it's a really interesting book.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting book. So just want to thank you for your time today. Again, I'll have their links in the description so people can connect with you directly. But I just want to thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me interview on my channel.
Thank you so much again for having me. It was a real pleasure. Keep up the good work, Greg.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And likewise, you're inspiring me to keep going.
Sure.
Also, well, it's Greg with Planet Green Zen. Sign up. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.